So when we talked about the 6 launches, we talked about a loop. So we talked about kind of getting our products together first, and we talked about funder next. We talked about launcher, talked about subscriber, and connector. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go to the end. We're going to start with connector, and then we're going to come back and we'll do some of the building blocks here. And to recap, this is not for baby artists just starting out. This is for artists who have put some points on the board and really want to build out some muscle around their career. So we don't want to compete for free prizes. We want to compete for real prizes in the real world with real fans and real revenue. So let's first start with some domino beliefs. So domino beliefs are beliefs that when you stack them end to end, they build momentum and they kind of create a worldview for yourself as an artist and entrepreneur. So there's a couple of those here that let's step through these here. And this is the idea of whoever owns the audience wins. And as we talk about connector, you will have some sort of audience in place. It may not be a dominating level artist, but you're going to have 5 to 5,000 to 10,000 people, 500 to 5,000 to 10,000 people in your universe, whether that's on social media or in a community or in an email list. So you have to have some kind of community around you. The next domino belief is this from Seth Godin. He said, people do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. They buy touch points. They buy interactions. They buy community. They want to be around people like them. So this is a domino belief that we're going to unpack today. And the third thing we want to talk about is the idea that everything is not for everybody. As we do this, we don't have to appeal to everybody. We want to appeal to the people, our tribe. Okay. If you're in a Led Zeppelin cover band, forget everybody else who doesn't like Led Zeppelin. So we're going to connect to a very specific tribe of people. So the idea of trying to be all things to all people will slow you down significantly. So everything is not for everybody. And as we think about products here, there's extra, extra small, medium, large, extra large, extra, extra, extra large. So the thing we're talking about today, this is kind of the extra, extra large product. This is the bells and whistles. This is the kitchen sink thing that is a higher price point. It's not going to be a koozie, $5 koozie. It's going to be X amount a month. And we'll look at those price points here. So as we're thinking about our price points here, we want to think like this. And Chris talked about this in his table walkthrough over the last couple modules. You want to have multiple price points. So what we're talking about today is kind of the big dog price point. Forget the koozies for now. We're going to think about those super fans and how do we super serve our super fans, if that makes sense. So, and to back up and just kind of take a look at the world we live in, why e-commerce matters. This is some old data, but I think it's really pertinent here. So 44% of all Grammy nominations belong to indies. Now I think it's over 50%. So these artists are handling their merch, maybe not themselves directly, but they're responsible for their own merch. 49% of all online sales flow through Amazon. That's 5% of all retail spend across the USA. So the idea that Amazon takes care of half of the online sales, but yet that's only 5% of all retail sales is amazing. So we want to play in that space. We don't want to be, left in a lurch selling 8-track tapes. Revenues from direct-to-consumer offerings jumped from $61 billion to $47 billion in 2019. And this is important as we think about Spotify and competing for free prizes. Artists have 0.02% chance of generating $50K a year on Spotify. So The idea of getting on playlists, the idea of promoting on Spotify is, for 95% of the artists in the world, is not a smart strategy. If you're Taylor Swift or Garth Brooks or Coheed and Cambria or Iron Maiden, that makes sense, right? But for most artists, that's not the case. And at the same time, 70,000 songs are released every day on Spotify. So you really want to compete. You want to be, you don't want to be the last in line, to quote Ronnie James Dio. You want to be in a shorter line where you can control what you can control. So
can I jump in on a few
yeah,
things?
Chris, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think one, all those figures are just going to increase, go in the same direction as they already are.
Yeah.
Even though that was 2021, some of them already have, but I think it's just going to continue down that same path that they're all going. The streaming thing, there are over 1 million songs on streaming services that have absolutely 0 plays.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're competing, with 1 million other songs that nobody's even listening to.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing about streaming is, we talked about this on one of our free Facebook things, is that it takes on Spotify 3,500 streams to make $15. So think about how long it takes you to make 3,500 streams to get that $15, whereas you can do that by selling one t-shirt.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's amazing how many people take the bait.
Yeah.
And they're trying to play the playlist game. I think about it as chasing kites. It's much easier and smarter to fly your own kite than it is to chase somebody else's kite. And what I mean by that is, when you own and control your business, you can control it. You're responsible for it, and you can put points on the board for yourself. When you're chasing the Spotify kite or the Grammy kite, you're chasing awards rather than revenue. So all those faux awards, whether it's, the Reverb Nation charts or the Texas charts, their ego, their vanity,
right,
metrics, they're appealing to the artist's vanity. So we want to kind of constrain that and say, look, let's play in the real world with real products and real fans. Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, these numbers are only increasing, and probably exponentially.
Yeah.
So let's get something under us here before we go into connector, and that's the idea of content versus platform. This is kind of one of the domino beliefs, the foundational beliefs in hacking music. There's 2 legs of an artist's table, and those are content and platform. Both are important, but we tend to kind of get them flipped easily. So let's take a minute and look at content and platform. Here we have content on the left and platform on the right. And at the top, where successful artists live, is this thing called trust. And everything we're doing builds up to that thing. And when you have that trust, Garth Brooks has it, Tim McGraw has it, Taylor has it, legacy artists have it, Journey has it. They're just going to buy, right? And yeah, that's easy for Journey. They've been at it for 50 years. But as developing artists come on, the more clarity you have on this idea of your content's important and your platform's important, the faster you're going to be able to build. The old world would say there's the music side and there's the business side. And I think that kind of misses the point. That kind of sets artists up to fail. Like, music people need to be taken care of by the business people. And we're just going to trust what the business people say because they're the business people, right? This is a little more integrated, and there's music and business, and they're connected. They are in no way separate, right? So the stuff you create, the content, is equally as important as the platform you're developing alongside of it, or hopefully developing alongside of it. And the thing about connector, which we'll talk about today, is that for developing artists, it works. Say you have 2,000 fans, right? for deploying artists, it works if you have 20,000 fans, right? And for dominating artists, if you have like 2 billion fans, it obviously works, right? So it doesn't matter if you're Toto, doesn't matter if you're Journey. The idea of connector, monetizing your artist communities is, it may not be essential right now, but it will be in the next coming years. So we may be a little bit in front of this. So as we think about developing artists, right, they're really focused on the content. Make, right. It's all about the fun, sexy stuff. And they kind of ignore their platform. Where you think about a professional artist or deploying artist who's doing it in the real world, there's kind of a balance there, right? Yes, the content's important, but also supporting that content is their platform. And as we think about legacy artists, maybe someone like Chicago or Aerosmith, look, they've had a great career. They've got a hell of a platform, and they don't need to really, why does Chicago need to make new music? Nobody, I hate to say it, but nobody's going to listen to it, and they just want to hear the hits, right?
Yep.
There's some fans that will, may buy it, but legacy artists have this kind of ratio. Does that make sense, Chris?
Absolutely. Yep. Nailed it.
So let's define this here. Content is anything that tells a story and is consumed by fans. Songs that are written, music videos, photographs, EPs, and CDs, right? It's the fun, sexy stuff that we love to do, right? We love going in the studio because it's the studio, right? And all the bells are ringing there. Platform are the components that support, strengthen, and sell the content piece of it, right? And you don't want to have one without the other. And here's an example of what this could look like. Whereas on the content side, you have recording, writing, products, and video and show. And on the platform side, you have staging experiences, SaaS and e-com, doing deals, team building, and touring, right? They feed each other in a very special way. And if you build momentum around this, eventually you build up the trust with your fans. And that's kind of where we're going with Connector today. Any thoughts on that, Chris?
No, but the experience thing will tie in directly with what I'm going to talk about later too. So yeah.
Yes, perfect. So let's talk about some purchase triggers, why people buy. I think this is called psychometrics, but we want to understand kind of the why people pull out their credit cards. Yep. So there's 10 of these. The first is somebody likes your vision. They love what you're doing, and they want to help, right? So they're going to be involved. The second thing is your mission. They love where you're going, and they can't be with you in the trenches, but they can pull out their credit card and buy a product or buy a subscription. The third thing, and this ties into Connector with the community here, is they buy the mirror. They want to be around others like them. If I'm really into Iron Maiden, then I'm probably going to like other Iron Maiden people, right? Yeah. It's a tribe, right? And Chris, you know this better than I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So people buy the mirror. If I'm a diehard Van Halen fan, so getting around other people like me, I'll pay for that, right? Because everybody's distributed, working from home, it's people, good things happen face to face. So they buy the mirror.
Yeah.
Number 4 is people buy because they want to see the process. This is showing the work. So when there's a food chef who's cooking, they want to see, oh, that's how they do it. Okay, yeah, this is fun. I want to show the work, right? They buy because something's world-class. When somebody hears Yo-Yo Ma play, I mean, it's a stellar experience. There's no other Yo-Yo Ma, right? This can be said for Art Tatum or Chick Corea, whoever that may be. They buy because somebody's world-class. They also buy the souvenir,
Yep.
right? They buy to remember. Um, they also buy to be involved, and this is one of the things that we'll look at here is when people have a say in the thing they're a member of, whether it's voting on a song or picking the songs to be released, or just saying, "Hey, I like that." They feel like their voice is heard, so they buy to be involved. They also buy for nostalgia, and they also buy out of boredom. And this is a lot of people just don't have anything to do. So if they can get together with other people in the mirror, other people like them, that really helps them. It gets them out of the house, and people pull out their credit cards to negate boredom all the time. And the last thing is touch. People want to touch the artist. They want to see them. They want to be in the room. They want to breathe the same air with them. And Chris is going to talk about VIP experiences here, and this is what's part of Connector. And this is probably the most important thing people buy in Connector is they buy the ability to be in the room with the artist, whether it's on a live streaming community twice 6 times a year. They buy that touch. They want to see that person and talk to that person directly. So these are 10 points, 10 reasons why people buy. And as we're thinking about structuring and engineering our own community, you want to kind of bake this into your process, right? So, Chris, do you want to take the reins and do the
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Just to piggyback on that real quick.
Yeah.
That's exactly why all those reasons, especially the souvenir thing and, experiences is why people will, shell out $50 for an Iron Maiden concert t-shirt when you can walk into Spencer's and buy this almost, another Iron Maiden shirt for half the price,
buy it on Amazon for 18. Right.
May not have the tour dates on it and stuff, but people want that experience. They want to remember. They want to show their tribe, hey, I was at this show, and it's all part of you remembering that experience that night and stuff. When they wear it, they go, oh yeah, that was a great show, man. So
and they'll pay 3 times as much for it.
Oh yeah, because that you get that emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that goes back to what you were saying.